Okay.
And
Uh-oh.
so he literally had this DJ literally like posted about it and was like, you got to do this and this and that. And I was like, what? Just he done made it big time, y'all.
Oh,
Derek Jones, relationship gumbo.
okay.
He made it big time, y'all. He done made it big time, y'all. They out there doing it. They pointing to their sodas. They out there rocking with it. So I
Okay.
had to. I could
Uh-huh.
not let that pass because I have to say that I am so excited for my friend Derek and all of his growth and everything that's going on with him. For everything that's happening for him, especially because he's just like getting in there live and everything. So I'm excited for you, sir.
Thank
I
you,
am.
thank
Yeah.
you, thank you.
Congratulations. That's what's up.
Right?
I appreciate all of you guys, man. Y'all don't know,
Yeah.
man. It's been a interesting ride, and social media isn't always kind, and sometimes you have people checking for you, and sometimes you don't. But y'all always are there, whether I'm on your page or mine. Everybody's cool. Like it's amazing the amount of cool people that we have. Kind of I don't know what the word is, but they end up showing up every time on your
Mm.
live or my live. When everybody goes live, it's like they're so cool. Like I always tell you, Lady J, about the men. The men
Yeah.
that support you, man, you cannot pay for that. Like on TikTok, you can't pay for that type of support. I've it's amazing. It's
No,
amazing.
I really do. I absolutely do appreciate the support that I have from the men and the women that I get on TikTok because I feel like, like some of you got to be watchful for, right? Because like everybody not genuine. There's some people who like they come in and they want something from you. But those ones that have been there with me, like I've been on TikTok live for over a year now. I want to say July was kind of like my peak point last year.
Mm.
And so the people that I've come into contact with and the ones that have stayed with me and really rock with me since then have been super genuine. And there's guys who are on there, like you said, like you can't pay for that. There's men that come on and they're in and out, but they always come and check on me.
Mm.
And so I super appreciate that. They're always like, "Yo, how's your health? How's this? How's that?" And so I'm super grateful for all of the support that I have, whether it be male or female. I'm super grateful for all of the support that I have because I don't know, TikTok is just a different space. TikTok
Yeah.
is a completely different space than I feel like Facebook or Instagram. I don't really fumble around in Snapchat a lot. I've just started posting stuff to Snapchat. But yes, sir, I did take my meds. Thank you very much. Good
Yeah.
gracious.
I
Aaron,
and you know what, Lady J, I singled out the men because y'all women, y'all know they be like open, 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 turn around, do a 360. So when you,
oh my God. Yes, they do.
that's what I
Yes,
was like.
yes, they do. But you know what? When they do that, I'll be like, yo, so I've Lady J has put on a little bit of weight. She done put on like 20 pounds since being on TikTok. And so about 25. And so when I first jumped on, I didn't have no hump rump. That's what I call it in the back, on the back side. I ain't got no hump rump. And so people used to come in and be like, what do I call it? I call it a hump rump, right? I call
Okay.
So they used to come in and be like, oh, do a 360, twerk something, work something.
This is
Sir,
not that space. Yeah.
let me tell you, one, it's not that space. And let me tell you something. If I do that 360, you're gonna be highly, highly disappointed. So listen, we should we should probably just move on into the next topic. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you're gonna be disappointed. So let's just not disappoint everybody in the room and let's just keep on topic or move to the next topic. I mean, I'm just saying. So that's where I've lived in my space. But he's right because on TikTok you do get a lot of that. You get that like whole like do a 360, shake something, twerk something. Let me see the fit. No, you don't want to see the fit. You want to see if I got something in the back. I don't. I don't. Okay. There's not nothing back there. I'm top heavy, but I ain't back heavy. That's just what it is. Point blank in the period. So like let's just not. Okay, I'm just saying. So now that we've discussed Lady J's non-humper issues in life, we can we can move on to tonight's topics. We can move
All
on
right.
to tonight's topics, which we have tonight. We are going to talk about. I've been seeing a whole lot of stuff about this whole like flued out thing.
This who?
Flued
Being
out.
flued out.
Being flued out. That's what they call it.
Oh,
They call it.
okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. Mr. Ace of Hearts has arrived. He's a little late, but that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. We still love him. How are you?
And everybody.
You good tonight?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Some
that's good.
technical difficulties, but we good.
Oh no, it's all good. Don't worry about it. So, I've been seeing a lot of stuff about this whole like being flued out, and beyond seeing the videos about it, and I have one to show actually, which I'm gonna post. I'm gonna show before we really get into the topic, so then other people can kind of see like what flued out is or whatever. I've had situations where people have talked about this, right? Being flued out or flying me out or flying to me. And so it's been kind of one of those things. So I wanted to kind of discuss it because I wanted to know like what everybody's opinion of the whole flued out thing was. So being I said I was going to discuss it, anytime I say I'm going to discuss something, people start sending me videos about whatever the topic is. So I'm going to play this video.
Yeah.
And then we can like discuss views based upon our just views in general, and then whatever she said as well.
Ain't no confirmation of my cancel the flight. I cancel your flight. Buy your own ticket. You wish I was going to do cheeks? No. Get your bag. I ain't even getting your bag. Here, your bag right there.
I came here with nothing. Are you serious?
I'm cool. Bro,
Right now.
I'm dead serious. You ain't want to give me no cheeks? You got a deal. Buy your own ticket. She got to buy her own ticket now. Fly yourself out. I done flew her ass out, now she don't want to give me no cheeks. You feel me? I done flew her out. Hey, the money here flew out.
Y'all always say I be victim blaming, but I just like to take responsibility for my actions and when I put myself in dumbass situations. Because number one, me personally, I'm not flying out to go see no man if I don't want to have relations with him. Why would I be in a hotel room in a different state with a man that I'm not trying to have relations with? That's me personally. But I feel like if you're going to get flown out by a man, especially a man that you barely know, you need to have some rules. Number one, have him send you the money to book your own plane ticket. Some men will say, oh, they want to get the points and use their card and this and that. And respectfully, I would tell him I don't feel comfortable with that. I would feel more comfortable if I was able to purchase the flight for myself. Period. And if he can't respect that, a red flag. Shouldn't even want to go see him. And the same thing applies for the hotel. If the hotel is in his name or under his credit card, he has full access to your room. And if I know I have no intentions of sleeping with this man, I don't want him to have access to my hotel room. Therefore, I need the money up front to pay for the hotel. Number 3, why are you flying out to go see a man and you ain't got no money? Y'all heard her say, I came out here with nothing. Sis, you should have stayed home. Your mama ain't teach you to have a rainy day fund? Your mama ain't teach you that emergencies happen and you need to have a little something put away? Like, how could you trust your life in the hands of a stranger like that, bro? With the Dior bag. Now, off of her and on to that bum. Number 1, for that to even be recorded? Big bum behavior. Big bum. These sassy ass boys who ain't never had nothing finally get a little bit of money. And they think they could get them a little IG model and stuff instead of going to pay for a streetwalker. Because why would you think that flying a woman out equates to getting the poom-poom? Then y'all sit up here and y'all bash streetwalkers instead of going to support their business like you want to. Ladies, please stop flying out to go see bum-ass men you don't know. Please.
And there it is.
So I'm gonna let y'all I'm gonna let y'all go ahead, and then I'll go last. I'll go last on the whole flued out. Well, I picked this one very specifically because I got a couple of them, but I picked this one specifically because of certain things that she said. So
Right.
I'll let y'all go ahead, and I guess we'll just go in order of the way I see the screen. So it'll go Jill, Joy, Derek, and then Ace of Hearts, if y'all don't mind. So Jill, your thoughts and your views on being flued out.
I've been flown out, but I also had my own money.
Okay.
And if things went south, I could have went home. He paid for the ticket. I mean, stupidly, I let him. But I talked to him for like a year before that. The visit was fine. It was after the visit that things got a little weird. Yeah.
When you say after the visit, if you don't mind.
He had no problems with me not sleeping with him there in the, during my trip. We didn't sleep together at all. He had a separate bedroom for me. He had like rose petals all over it. And I was like, well, I'll let you know we're not doing anything. He goes, I was just trying to be nice. I was like, okay, well, whatever. So I took a bath by myself in the rose petals and did everything. And like, he left me alone. I thought things were cool. We had a great time. Went up to Boston, went up to Cape Cod and saw all that stuff up there, all the way up to the top. And then get home, and then he tells me, I don't know why I invited you, because I thought you were going to put out. We never discussed it. There was never a discussion. But he didn't, he didn't say anything during it. He was very polite to me and very much a gentleman.
Yeah.
He wasn't terrible to vacation with. It was just the after. I was kind of like, what? Like, we had just met in person. I understand we've been talking for a while, but it doesn't mean I'm comfortable enough to be with anybody intimately.
Yeah.
But they definitely have like a safety plan. If you're going to do that, make sure you know them a little bit. Do a background check. And have your own.
Not a red flag.
Have a background check done.
Not that you got props.
Oh no, he was ready today. He was ready.
Not that you had props.
I'm just waiting on my turn. Miss
Joy, I'm listening.
Yes. It's a lot to unpack, and it's not anything to unpack. I look at it this way: somebody's expectations is not my responsibility, first and foremost. But I'm forefront, right? So you have some people who are kind of like, I'm about to get flued out because they want to tour the town. They meeting someone else. They got family there. They have other reasons that they're coming there for that reason. Like, that like you're not the one I came to visit, right? Secondly, I absolutely agree with her. Look at here, you got too many men and women who move in a transactional way. Well, because I did this, I'm getting this. Let me tell you something, right? And behind it is the ego and the challenge, right? I'm such a good person and I got so much swag, I can convince you to XYZ. Honey, you living in a different time where people are talking about that's not convincing, that's not swag, that's called coercion, that's weak. So you got motivations on both sides. It's again, you expecting that because you paid for a ticket, if I allowed you to, that you're going to get some. First of all, that's a shame. That's a shame that you have to move in that particular way where there's, that's a shame. Like, you are willing to, fly someone from XYZ expecting something from him or her. You ain't got anybody local. There's nobody local. There's nobody who could have just walked to a restaurant. There's nobody who could have just got on the bus, got in their car. So behind you flying them out, there's also that status. Like, I got the money, I'm able to fly her out. I got the money, I'm able to fly him out. Yes, you do. You have all this money and still didn't get any ass. How'd that turn out? How your day? How you feel? Still a bum. Just like she said, that's a shame. Okay. So as far as this, first of all, it's something that's been happening all the time. Like, we see the trends, but this shit has been happening all the time. People have been flying people out, people been busting people out, people been driving, all this all the time. And again, your expectation of what you think should happen because you've done X, Y, Z is not my responsibility. I also agree. I'm very careful with the putting yourself in certain situations because the onus of your self-control is not on me. Mine is, right? Just because you're expecting something, just because you may be bigger or stronger than me, does not mean that you are entitled to it out of ego or hurt feelings. So that being said, after everything is said and done, you have a whole industry that has been here since the beginning of time. Please be respectful and check into that. Because then there's no misunderstanding. What are you talking about? Oh, I know that he or she likes me. You ain't getting the ass. They ain't saying anything nice to you. They ain't give you a hug. I don't think that's true. I think that was a fib. I think that's a lie. You told yourself. I'm sorry, you having a bad day, and you still ain't got any ass. Blue balled and mad. I hate to see it.
I cannot with you. I cannot.
You know he said he was. You know he was going off in that camera. You know he was going off, sitting up there just limping around. His blue ball was mad the whole time. Boy, take some ibuprofen. You know he was pissed. Just I'm sorry,
Mr. Derek Jones.
Hold on, let me move my hair out the way because
you gonna tuck it behind that ear.
Wow, I've talked about this quite a bit, so I'm not going to go all the way there. But and just recently, I'm not going to say this person's name, but this person had the expectation that she was going to have an experience like some of these women that she see on Instagram. So she went ahead and played that game. And here's the thing, right? If we actually look at what this is for a woman, right? You meet a guy, and in most cases they don't even really know the guy, right? They might have had like a couple of phone calls or whatever, and the guy kind of throws this thing in your lap, right? And you're like, oh my God. Like in most cases, no one's ever done this for me before. Oh my God, like let me see what this is about. He's gonna take care of everything. How chivalrous of him, right? But then you got to go down this kind of, to me, checklist. How safe am I going to be? Do I know anyone else there? How much control is he going to have? Is the room in his name? Is just one room? He got the key. I'm in his car. Wherever we go is where he say. I don't know anything about this city. As a woman, where does my safety lie on that whole thing, right? Then you say, well, he says he likes me and he's going to take care of everything, and you don't have no conversation about this, right? Here's the other side, right? And I'm going to do this real quick. So now I'm him, right? If a woman has boundaries, she's not going to accept these terms. She has good, healthy ones, right? So let me test and do the ask and see if she says yes.
Right.
If she says yes, then the control leans in my way. So now when you come, the expectation of the sex to him is going to be easy because you've already broken a boundary for me anyway, right? So when you get there, he's like, well, this should be pretty easy. Let me throw some rose petals on the floor, get her emotions all, and then I can go ahead and close the deal because she's a boundary breaker anyway. That's why I always tell women, we test you guys a lot. And whatever you accept or not accept determines how I'm going to move. So when you get on a plane to fly to me on my dollar under my control, it's a test you failed. I hate to say it like that, but especially like when you don't have any kind of qualifying information to other than phone calls, right? So you got to think about, and people who have done this, I'm not passing judgment. I'm saying moving forward, especially like if you have kids, right? They mama is going somewhere that she might not come back from.
Right.
And I know that can happen by you walking across the street. I get that. But those are accidents. You're purposely getting on the plane. Like we gotta think like control, like how much control does it now? If you do it and you get your own room and you get in your own car and I'm in the other city, maybe he paid for you to get there or whatever, but I'm gonna meet you there in my car and I got control over this right here. And then if we gel, maybe something may happen, maybe not. But thank you, sir, for whatever. Oh, you need me to reimburse you half of it because nothing happened? Cool, here you go. But at least I knew that he didn't have a key to my room. I got my own car, so I can go shopping tomorrow. He ain't getting none. He was pissed. Cool. I ain't gonna go home just yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and go get this Chanel bag real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead and catch the plane. Right.
Okay.
So We got to be forward thinking with these things, man. Like I have a 13-year-old daughter, right? So I'm thinking to myself, and just women in general now at this age where I'm a little bit more evolved than I used to be in the past. But I'm like, I remember, and you just Know Your Nature talked about coercion. Like, we have to understand what these things mean, especially when it goes against our safety. So I'm gonna just go ahead and pass the mic to my brother over here, Ace of Hearts, and I'm gonna let him go ahead and close it out. Well, Lady J gonna close it out, but
Mr.
Wow, there's so many things to unpack in this. So the first one is we're all adults, and none of us are so blind to the fact of what getting flued out really means. It means you're about to go on an episode. You're about to be on an excursion, whether discussed previously or not. No man, and let me say this before I make this next statement. A man's money is connected to his penis. Full stop.
Yeah.
No man in his right mind is going to fly you from wherever you are to wherever you want to go or wherever he is, put you up in a hotel, put rose petals on and all this other stuff without the expectation of having sex with you. Whether it's correct or incorrect, whether you agree or disagree, that's just the facts, full stop, right? So now that we're all adults and we know what's going on, when that gets put on the table by a man, if a man says, oh, I want to fly you out, I want to take you to dinner. Now, the key part, ladies, I'm sure you'll back me up on this, is him saying, I want to have sex with you, right? But if he says, I want to fly you out, I want to take you shopping, I want to take you to dinner, that also includes he wants to have sex with you. If you know from the beginning that you have no intentions on having sex with that man, do not accept that trip, full stop. And fellas, we got to do better too. Just from the standpoint of, hey, go ahead and tell the lady up front, these are my intentions towards you. Let's just go ahead and be real, because they have the power in that regard anyway, right? But and then the second, the third thing I want to talk about is like what Relationship Gumbo said, and that is you got to look at your safety. Now, I've had a couple of these episodes in my lifetime. And as I look back on it now, where I am in my life, I was just as much an idiot because I didn't know this woman from Adam. She could have, put something in my drink and robbed me and left me there naked. Anything could have happened, just as much as it's dangerous for a woman to do it as well. And we don't think about those things in the midst of it. You know what I mean? So people need to grow up and just be adult about it and say, hey, look, I'm feeling you. And when I say I'm feeling you, that encompasses everything included in that, sex and all.
So I have
let those fairies percolate for like 2 seconds. I see them working.
I have so many feelings on this whole flued out idea, this like theory, this whole thing. I really do, because so let's start with the fact that I was on someone's live last Friday night. I was having trouble sleeping, ended up on somebody's live. And we started talking about kind of like flued out type of deal. It wasn't really talking about flued out, but it was like, it was like, okay, so if a guy asks you to like, like they say they want to, fly you out or whatever, or they want to come see you. The conversation that the gentleman had with me was that it is absolutely expected of it is absolutely expected of you. If I'm flying you out or I'm flying to you, I'm spending my money that you're giving me something. And I was like, but why though? Because I feel like, in my personal opinion, and maybe I'm just so flippin' naive or whatever, I don't know. Maybe Lady J is so naive to think that for me, and I've had another gentleman say something completely different, but we'll go into that in a second. Maybe it's so naive of me to think like, if you decide that you want to spend your money to come see me, or for me to come see you, why is it absolutely expected that sex is the next step? Why is it that we just can't sit and get to know each other? Why is it that, like, because when we sit and we have conversations like this, I don't get to interact with you like I would if I was dating someone locally. Because if I was dating someone locally, I'd be able to have those interactions where I know what it's like to sit with you. I know what it's like to hold your hand. I know if that makes me feel comfortable or not comfortable. Because I didn't held some people's hands before and I'd have been like, this feels weird. I don't like it. I don't want to do this no more. Like, I'm serious. Like, I didn't been like, that kiss was weird. I will never call time again. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, so, like, why is it expected that if you chose to spend, because that's the same thing as like when it's like, okay, well, who pays for the first date? Well, guys talk about how they don't want to pay for a first date. You know, they don't want to pay for a date because it's like, oh, we should go like, you know, Dutch or whatever, because that's my money. If you want to spend time with me, because for me, if I decide I want to spend time with you and I want to get to know you and I decide that you live in a different state and I say, hey, I'm going to take a vacation. You know what? I'm going to vacation over here instead of vacationing over there. Right? Like, I'm gonna go to Hawaii instead of going to, I don't know, flipping Japan, whatever, because you're in Hawaii. So instead of going to Japan, I'll go to Hawaii. I'll get to spend some time with you. I'll experience the culture. I'll do what I do. Why is it that you've already expected that because I've come down? Like, if I'm choosing to spend my money that way, I'm coming to see you and I'm going to enjoy the culture. I'm not expecting.
You're talking about spending your money, though.
Right.
The
That's what I was
flued out
gonna say.
concept is
But the
the
other part
man
of that
flying
is,
you there to do it.
But what I'm saying is, so that's a lot of the issue that people have a lot of times. That's a lot of the issue that these men have is that, oh, well, I'm spending all my money, this, that, and the other. And women don't want to spend their money. Women don't want to, but I'm telling you that if I'm willing to spend my time with you and I'm willing to get to know you, because that's what I'm thinking. That's what it is, right? That's what you're portraying it to be. You're portraying it to be that you want to spend your time with me, and then underlyingly, that's not really what the fuck it is. What it really is you just want to like be like, oh, I'm gonna spend some money. So if you want to spend some money so that you could sleep with somebody, I'm full agreement with that lady said in that video. Go get yourself a streetwalker.
Go
The
get a
challenge
sex
ain't
worker.
the
They've been
same.
here forever.
It's not the same type of challenge.
But see, this is the thing. That's just it right there. Sometimes with challenges, you win and you don't. Act like a fucking man, act like a fucking woman when you don't. This is my thing also. There's a sister who's on TikTok who has said, touching on what the brother I talked about, Asa Rice, has spoken about. Y'all men run around here like y'all not in danger. Okay? Y'all run around here like that shit, like y'all can't get got. Like y'all better hope that one day something don't snap and half of the population on this earth are women, and we don't decide to become as predatory as some of y'all are. Cause y'all not gonna make it. Y'all follow us everywhere. Y'all follow us in grocery stores. Like she said, down alleyways. Y'all fly us, y'all will be flying your death to you. This is weird shit. And plus this is just an evolution of the same sort of game. This shit has been going on forever. Okay? Ever since there was a cave where somebody was like, you know, so I'm gonna invite you to my cave. I'm gonna need to get some of that yum and some of that lamb chop. Like, what the fuck? This has been going on for forever. Your expectation of what it is that you think that you need and want, that ain't got nothing to do with me. That is your expectation. I got the right to tell you now. And if you feel stupid, that ain't got nothing to do with me either. And it's not right. Of course, that's not right if somebody's running game on you or taking advantage of your emotions. Because there are some men and there are some women who are insincere and wanting you to be there and be around you. And they kind of like, that'll be a bonus. You know what I'm saying? The other side of that for me is that these men who are doing this and these women that are doing that, because you know you got some women that kind of like, come see me. Y'all acting as if the people that they're flying out might not have the same amount of money, if not more. Y'all acting as if this transition that y'all doing is for somebody who might have lesser funds than you got. They might just want to look. They might all be Capricorns and don't want to spend their money.
I'm dead.
Okay, go ahead and fly me out. Go ahead and use your points. Go ahead and use your bank if you want to. Go ahead and assume that I don't have money and then find out something else was when I get my hotel room, when I go someplace else, when I do something else, and you feel a certain way. It is even with communication. And I hear what you're saying. I absolutely hear what you're saying, brother. As far as I do, when you're talking about as far as the challenge is concerned. But with those challenges, there are losses, a lot, right? There are times it's not going to work out like you. There's times you're not going to get what you got. Because what happens, again, when brother was talking about safety, you bring somebody out there and you expect something from him or her they don't want to give you, and then they decide they want to tussle back. And it might not turn out how you think. It's weird to me to get upset for not getting something that you made an assumption about. Y'all didn't have a conversation. And up until that point, everybody has the right to be like, just like she said, you might give them a kiss and be like, I just met another sibling. I want none of it. So, you see what I'm saying? Like, you have this expectation and you're throwing tantrums and doing this.
Now,
it is not their responsibility.
Here's part of what happened on the live that I was referring to. We talked about this being flued out, right? Somebody says, I want to fly you out. You know, this and this. I said that I absolutely have conversations with people who have asked me, like, you know, I really would like to fly you out, this, that, and the other. Okay, so you want to fly me out to see you and spend time with you. Are you flying me out with no expectation of anything else happen other than us just spending time with each other, getting to know each other? This particular gentleman told me that I then ruined the moment. And because I said, are you expecting something that absolutely he's now expecting? And I was like,
he was expecting something from the beginning, though. He wasn't being truthful. And I just want to keep it 100. I'm not saying that any woman should go anywhere and do anything against their will. But women have to stop thinking, hey, he really wants to get to know me. He's really flying me from New York to LA just so we can be in each other's presence and we can talk.
This is exactly why I am extremely direct with people. This is exactly why I talk with, where does my brain live? On TikTok. Where do I have my conversations? On TikTok. And I sit there and I explain 1,000 million billion 711 million times that, listen, I will ask you, what is your expectation? What is your interest? You looking for a cuddy buddy? You looking for somebody who's like down for some, like, you know, I just want to do this tonight.
Secret rendezvous, whatever.
I'm ready to get married tomorrow. Like, you know, on that weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I like you, but I don't like you like enough to be in relationship with you. Like, I ask because I don't listen. I don't want to sit up here and play no games with you. I don't.
That's it. One, like he said, like the brother said, that they're lying. You got people that are sitting up there that are children in grown men and women's body. But it's also, I really want to hit on what, you know, Brother Gumbo had to say. It is very much about control. Because let's be honest, there is something for everybody out here. There is a market for everybody out here. And it's too easy to find what you want. It's the click of a couple of things. You can find somebody with a prosthetic leg who likes to take and switch their arm and a prosthetic foot. You can find somebody who got something going on all the time. The thing is, like he was talking about, it's a matter of control. It's a matter of the game. It's a matter of coercion. If you can get this person who you like the look of or whatever you want, if you can get them to do something that you want. But my other question is, for all these people who are supposed to be adults, have y'all never operated within, I'll just put it this way, being horny? Have y'all ever not moved in the world of being horny and not satisfying that urge or that sensation until or unless? Like, have you not been sitting at work one day and just been like, well, goddamn, and then you got to wait till you get home? Like, I don't understand when you feel like I got the urgency, I got to have it now, when this person's just like, I am not a walking dildo. I'm not a walking sex toy. This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand if people are just like, and I flew her out and then she didn't give me no. And I'm like, you've been sitting there hot. You've been sitting there with your balls tight until she showed up. And now you still up. That just,
it's not even about being hot or horny, though. I mean, once again,
I get it. It still don't mean it's not weird. You know what I'm saying? I do understand that it can be the chase, and again, it's a matter of seeing if you can get, again, with the boundaries, getting somebody to push their boundaries, especially somebody that you know is not fitting, quote unquote, the mold of what it is you want. All those things are weird to me. I'm just
look. Yeah, it's so look, so real quick. So yeah. The high and the excitement of bagging a chick that normally probably would have told you no. Because I know a lot of times people will, I won't say women, but people will say, well, if all he wanted was this, he could have just told the girl this, and if she wanted it, then she would have been down. It's too easy. If you can bag the chick that normally would have told you no, or maybe she looks away and you like, she would never want me. You bag that chick, your dopamine high going through the roof. You can, if you can coerce a chick that normally would have shut you down, and you hit that, you the man. That's how this works.
But what if she gets there and she doesn't freaking like him, or what if he doesn't like her?
I'm gonna need y'all to get it together. I can't wait till next week, yo. I can't wait.
Or the reverse of that. What if she gets there and you don't like her? I've had that experience too.
Right.
And that's a real thing.
It is. But how many times have we sat up here and heard a man like, I gotta see it through, my boy? You're like, what? How does that even work? What are you doing? Like, I get it. And it's I guess disappointing that you still got these grown people playing these sort of young people games, trying to feel out things and suss out things. But as far as the flued out thing is concerned, my main thing is if you are going into this, with your hunt hat on, sometimes you're going to catch the quote unquote prey. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're going to get more than you bargained for. I want to know how many of these men and women woke up without a kidney. I want to know how many of them woke up in an ice bath because somebody done stole some shit for them. I want to know how many of them ain't got their left ear, just wearing their hair right over it because somebody sat up there and I'm like, somebody give me some more stats, some shit. I want to know how many of y'all ain't got half of your bank account. I want to know about this because
those people ain't filming it and putting it on TikTok or any other.
They not. They should.
That's it. They should make a show. Tell us all about it. Inform us all.
In all honesty, I feel like with the whole flued out thing, I feel like it sucks because I have this idea, right? I have this idea that there should be this conversation that you have, right? Because we're all adults, right? All of us in this room are adults. And I mean that the people that we're talking to in this podcast and the people that we talk to in day-to-day life that we're dealing with in life are adults. So you would hope, right, that they are adult enough to have a conversation with you enough to say, hey, so, you would like to fly me out or you want to come see me. What is the expectation of you coming to see me? And what is the expectation of if you decide to pay for something for me to come down there? Because I didn't agree with what the lady said in the video where it was like, no, just send me the money, this, that, and the other. Now, while I felt like that was a safer, hi Ralph, how are you?
You still have conditions for that money.
While I felt it was a safer option, I feel like if you're really getting ready to fly out to go see someone, you absolutely do need to feel like you are in a safe space to do so. Yeah. Like I feel like that needs to be you really need to feel comfortable. You need to feel safe. You need to feel like, you know what, it's not going to be something that's going to turn into something crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like where I'm stuck, like this, that's the fourth video I think I've seen where it's been a lady who's been stuck someplace because they'd had no backup plan because they really didn't know the person. They just went out on this whim of like, oh, I'm going on this vacation and it's going to be so this and it's going to be so that. And it's like, no, like you said, Derek, like you really have to like kind of like take those things into, and a couple of us have said on here, you got to take those things into consideration. Like you just can't be going to spaces where you don't got no family, you have no backup, you have no nothing, and you just flying out thinking, I'm just going to go have a good time. I'm just going on vacation. I'm going to some undisclosed location or whatever. And nothing is in my name. I don't have a car to get around, and everything is in the control of another person, whether that be male or female. Like that's just not a safe situation. So I feel like before you decide that you want to be like flued out somewhere, you absolutely definitely need to have some conversations of what are the expectations? What is like, okay, so this is how I am. Because I ain't gonna lie, in the space and time that I'm living in my life, nah, listen, you gonna know, listen, no, I'm not comfortable with that. I ain't comfortable with that neither. Nope. Okay. Oh, I didn't hear from you for like the next 5 days. Clearly you have said that was not working for you. Okay, that's great. That's fine. I dodged the bullet. Great. I'm happy with that. So I think that there have to be conversations that have to be had. I think that these folks are out here just like living this wild life. of this.
And I don't think that it's foul all the time. We're adults. I mean, like, and I'm not saying that it's correct or incorrect. What I'm saying is people should just understand the nature of that. If somebody approaches you, ladies, if a man approaches you, men, if a woman approaches you, talking about, I'm going to fly you out, there is a reasonable expectation. They want something in return for that fly out. I don't care what anybody thinks or says. Not everybody is like that, of course. So I'm not saying everybody that's doing it is, but the percentage of people who are not is very minuscule. And when they say that, just automatically know. And I want to add this point too. For someone to have never met you, been around you, seen you live and in person, and says, "Ooh, I want to get to know you," at least from my perspective, from a male's perspective, that man is basically telling you he want to sleep with you. Then, now, it's up to you if you continue the conversation and kind of feel out who this person is or whatever. But as far as getting on any mode of transportation and leaving where your residence is and going to see somebody in a hotel, that just screams a booty call or hookup. And there's no other way around that. I don't care what anybody says.
Jill got something to say.
I would just hope that people wouldn't have that expectation to begin with. I shouldn't be expected to do shit with you because I had to pay money to come see him. I had to miss out on work. I had to pay for someone to watch my children. I talked to him for like 3 to 4 months before this. I'm not making excuses. It wasn't very smart on my end. But I'm just saying, as a person, you just shouldn't have any expectations because people have their own free will.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with people being hopeful.
In person,
I don't have a problem with people being hopeful that they're gonna get some ass, or being hopeful that they're about to get something slain between them. I don't have any problem with somebody being hopeful. Your expectation is something that you're trying to make that hope concrete. You better get out of my face. Let me tell you something. You could go there with the expectation of, you know what, I'm about to get a hold of him, and you might get up there with the expectation like, you know what, this brother is black, right? I'm about to wear the color off him. He gonna wake up a whole ass white man. And then you get there and your expectations manifest in a way like you ain't about to get anything. Touch me and find out how your day going. I've been in my state too long. What's bothering me, I think, about all of this is that whatever mindset that the man or the woman has, as far as that expectation, you go ahead and be hopeful that shit goes down, right? But if you want something that is an absolute investment, you better check those stocks and bonds. You better start investing in shit like that. Because again, just like she said, people have free will. Okay. And you have no idea what happens if you sit up there and you see this man and woman and they come up there and they are whole catfish, right? Mm-hmm. Your hopeful expectation is going like, and how many times have we seen it? Look, they sit up there and you looking at me like, yes, look at him. And he got these angles. He get off of that plane and he's 4'1". He get off of that plane and he's 7'9". You can't scale that building. You can't bend down that low. Now you got a problem. Now y'all just got logistical issues. Y'all can't get together like you thought. It is again. I get it with that word, that expectation, right? That it bothers me because
I agree with you. I 1000%. I think that's what it is for me as well. Is the expectation of something. And that's why I try to be as direct as possible, because it's like, I feel like because again, and maybe I'm just too hopeful, maybe I'm just too naive or whatever, but like this expectation that because if you're telling me that you want to, if you want to spend, like, really for real, because I really feel like that, like if you want to spend all that money to fly me someplace so that you can screw me, I promise you, it's cheaper to get a stripper. It's cheaper to get a hooker. It's cheaper to get a
Not as exciting though.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, you go.
I'm just a cheapskate. I'm a cheapskate because I would be like,
you go through all this. Yeah, you got this person here. How long y'all gonna be in the bedroom?
Don't put logic on this, ladies. There's no logic in this. Stop trying to put logic on it.
And that's horrible. That's horrible. So this is how y'all work. Y'all work with no logic.
No, don't say y'all, them.
Hold on.
Men.
I have told you this a million times before. Any man who's saying they want to get to know you, getting to know you is code word for having sex with you. And I'm putting that very nicely. That's all that is. And you have to understand
instance,
that men operate on that premise.
That's
That's bottom line of it all. Nobody
but
is
that's nothing surprising. I think that most men or women who are operating in the world with the opposite sex understand that somebody's, talking to you or wanting to get to know you. They're thinking of you. Yeah, they're thinking of you in that particular physical sense. That's where the self-control comes in. You see what I'm saying? Like somebody's looking at them like, especially if you're physically attracted to them. I will be the first one to tell you, I'm thinking about what you look like without your drawers. Now what? But that doesn't mean the way that I'm operating is if I don't see you as a human being, that I don't just see you as an assortment of parts to get a hold of, is my thing. So that in and of itself, that's not groundbreaking. That's not something that's like, oh my God, this is not the Victorian era. And just as Mr. J would say, friendly aside, friendly no. You know how the Victorians were getting it in. Y'all need to stop. Yeah, all I'm saying is that that's just human beings. It's hopefully mostly adults that are moving in that particular manner. Yeah, you see them, but do you see them as just an assortment of body parts, just a place to put your dick, just a place to put your vagina? Because if that's the case, and you don't see the human being behind it, I don't know what to tell you. This is what some of my is bothering me. And like flued out is just an evolution of other game that's been here for the longest time. And like you said, the expectations behind it. It's just another step. When they get their shuttles and they rocket ships, right? And we decide we're gonna be colonizing everything, it's gonna be the same thing. Oh, you coming from Mercury to come see us on Earth? But this is what I'm expecting. It's gonna be the same shit.
So even if we pay for our own stuff and I paid for my own flight and I came out there, that expectation is still there?
Oh, they still got it. Hell yeah. Because you showed up. Like you said, it's the boundary.
The difference
it's like you said with the boundary because you showed up.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Derek said the difference is control, right? You go to a Fridays in your thing, they're gonna have an expectation if they spending $50 sometimes, right? The difference is you are in a location that he has total control over. That's the difference. Right. When you pay for your own room, he can't get in there. When you have your own stuff, he doesn't have control. Doesn't mean he's still not gonna want you. It just means you have security measures in place. Just because here's the thing, right? Let's peel it all the way back, right? Okay, wait,
real quick, Lady J. You are accepting to go to a location to stay in a room with a bed
that you don't know.
No, okay, no, wait. So now let's take it into a space where someone will fly you out, put you in a space of your own. Now, do they have control of being in the room? Yes.
Yes, they do.
Now let's take it into the space of someone flies to your location. Mm-hmm. They stay in their own room, not in your space, but they come to see you. Does that make it different?
It does make it different.
So if someone says, hey, I'm going to come down, I'm going to fly to see you.
No, I heard that. You said, does it make it something? Does it make it
different? Does that become different?
It does make
it makes it different from what relationship Gumbo is saying, which is the control standpoint. But let's not get this off into the rocket science atmosphere.
No, it's not. That's not rocket science. I think that's a valid question because I think the thing about it is it's like, okay, is there a difference between being flued out and somebody flying to you? This isn't rocket science. This is
it's still the same bottom line though. The bottom line is that you're something new to this person, and I get what Joy is saying. I get that too. You're overlooking the personhood aspect of it, but this is a very primitive game. Sex is primitive more than anything. Like you said, it's been around since the beginning of time. So, and all this is another form of the game, just like Joy was saying. This is just another form of the game. And anyone who falls into it naively, on both sides, on the male side expecting and the woman side expecting, oh, I'm getting this free vacation. Where was the last time they were handing out free vacation? And where is that at?
But I want to go take free vacation when someone comes to see you. That's on their dime. So
I get it.
From Derek, if I could go ahead.
So if the man decides that he's going to fly to you, right? He's in his own room, right? Maybe you're staying at your own home, right? This is a town where your family's at. You might got some brothers. You have your concerns about your safety are almost lessened because you in your area, he's new to your area. So he should be on his P's and Q's at this point, right? But the other factor that we don't discuss is typically the man is going to be stronger than the woman. So if I'm coming to you in your area where you might be carrying something, where you might have some brothers that you can call up in 2 seconds, now my ability to dominate you lessens. When you come to my city, I could do whatever I want to, and you ain't got nobody to call. Nobody. So if I come to you and I'm in my separate room, because a lot of times what y'all do is y'all invite him to y'all town and then he's staying in your house. And I'll be like, what are you doing? But if he's staying in his own room, ask me how I know. So anyway, if he's staying in your own room, he's staying in his own room and you at your house and y'all meet up somewhere, right? And maybe he pays for dinner. You still have a sense of control because this your hood. You know people here. You could pick up your phone right now and be like, look, sis, call Jerome and them. Because this dude right here, he tripping. You can't do that when you in California.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
I get it. No, I get it. And also, I mean, the paradigm, because I see where Miss Lady J is coming from. She's a straight shooter. What we've also learned in life is that we can't expect us from other people, right? And so you'll get somebody that'll be the most sincere person in the world who is lying to your face as a means of control, also controlling the narrative, controlling the paradigm is also a sort of thing. So you'll get somebody that might come out to where you are, but still work in a way to try to isolate you or try to get you in a position where it's still under their control. So I'm getting a cat. I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Hairless cat, girl. That hairless cat.
I don't want. I'm gonna get a little black kitten, and I'm gonna call it Sunshine. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Sunshine.
But here's my last point. Here's my last point, Lady J, because we got to get into your game, ma'am.
Yes.
He's right.
Yeah, we got to direct traffic here. But here's my last point, right? Your safety concerns when you aren't flued out and you just in town and the guy's paying for the date should be exactly the same. The difference is now you are staying in a room with a bed. That's it. Like you really got to think about this. Think about like if somebody came in your house and you was like, let me show you the bedroom. This is where we're gonna stay. What are people thinking when they do that? Like it's
I just look, I'm sorry. And again, even just to be a hypocrite and go against what I just said as far as not expecting other people, not expecting yourself from other people, I just operate in a space that you might change your mind. You see what I'm saying? Like I might be hopeful that I can get you to drop them draws. Okay? I might be hopeful, but something might happen. Hell, you might pick up the phone and hear from an ex talking about I need to go home. Now see, I ain't getting no ass. But see, you see what I'm saying?
But here's the thing, right? Here's my last point. Here's the thing. Whether it happens or not, right? Because I've already kind of in my mind pseudo vetted out your lack of boundaries, I'm going to make an assumption that you're probably going to relax them even more. Then when you say no, right? I'm going to be mad because I made the assumption. I might even be pissed off like, dude, but that risk is worth it if I was able to get it, right? In the end, that conquest means more than whether you say yes or no. I got a 50-50 chance if it go my way, I'm the man. Because this chick probably would have never said yes to somebody like me. Now I got it. Mission accomplished. And then I'm going to let you go and rinse and repeat.
I don't know. I need some of these men who move this way. I need y'all to start sleeping with your friends because half the time they pay for your shit. They pay for when you go to bars. They pay for when you go to dinner. They pay for your tickets. Like, y'all ain't dropping jaws for them. Like, I'm serious. Like, I don't know. I ain't like that. Well, then my guy, my girl, ninjas, apply it to who you dealing with. Like, seriously, like y'all will spend some bank on your friend. They got some new Jordans. They got their rent paid. Their heart has been mended because you. And I'm like, can I be your friend, John? Because goddamn, like.
And on that note, we are going to move into game time, y'all. Game time. Okay. Petty deal breaker or preference. So, those of y'all who know me, where do I live? Where do I live? Where does my brain live? On TikTok. On TikTok. So I moved into this space a couple of months ago where I started like thinking about this idea of petty deal breakers, because we all have deal breakers, right? Like, so deal breakers in general, right? Like, you can't be a liar, you can't be like conniving, you can't be a thief, you can't be like robbing banks, and we don't want people who've been in jail for like millions of years or whatever. I don't know, like all these crazy deal breakers, right? So the like hardcore deal breakers,
right?
So I started looking into the way I was maneuvering, and I was like, I think I'm moving in the space of petty deal breakers, where I feel like there are certain things that are like small and minute, and I'm making them be huge deal breakers as opposed to like a petty thing, like, oh, that's petty. So I decided to make this a game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name something off, and then we'll say, each person can say if that's petty or if it's preference. So it's petty deal breaker or preference in their opinion. And everybody's opinion and preferences, that's on them. It's whatever. It's no right or wrong answers to this or whatever. We just go in this, and then we can kind of like discuss in a little bit what y'all think. Are y'all ready? Yeah, y'all ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So my first one is like one of the hugest ones, like for real. Like, it's like one of the easiest ones. Height.
It's a preference.
Like, yes.
It's a preference.
Look, I don't know what to say. I don't care. I've dated brothers I'm 5'5". I've dated men that are 5'3".
It's a
pretty
preference.
petty. I can.
It was like she doing the double dance. She doing the double dance. She like, I'm not sure.
I think, and that the reason why I put my fists up like that, because as a coach, I hear it. So it can be a preference, but it also could be a petty deal breaker. And here's why: I always end up coaching women that are like 5'3", and they need to have a man that's 6'5". So I always give them a scenario of, what if you found a guy that had everything that you wanted, but he was 6'4", and they're like, hell no. And I'm like,
now that's crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Somebody told me, and they're like 5'3", and they was like,
that's petty.
Yeah, this one told me that he had to be 6 foot or above, right? She's 5'3". So I arbitrarily did the 1 inch rule, right? I was like, what if he's 5'11"? Well, 5'11" guys, they got that short man complex. And I'm like, because I'm 5'11". So I'm like, I'm not short. Like, what are you talking about? She was like, yeah, they have the same complex like a dude that's 5'3", because they not 6 foot. And I was like, where are you getting this from?
You know what? Look, I'm not gonna be too mad at her, because she might have run into it. It's you know how it informs it. Okay, I'm not the best. I just sit this one out, because that really has never been a thing for me. Now, I'm not gonna lie. My husband, who passed, happened to have been 6'5", and my son just settled at like 6'1", 6 feet 6'1". But I'm sorry, I've had the opposite experience. I've got those men that were like 5'3". You couldn't tell him anything. He has since moved on. To date a classmate of mine. We're all friends. His girl is 5'11". He's 5'3". His girl is 5'11". They got 5 kids. They all bigger than him. Let me tell you something. That man, look. I have to give kudos. I met his father a couple times before he's passed. His father looked at his son and knew that he wasn't going to get past a certain height, right? And he decided that he's going to have to, he's going to have to help him in the society in which he's living. He's a black man, 5'3". You can't tell this man, as you sitting there looking down at him, that he ain't your height. First of all, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, I have nothing to say, because that's never been a thing of mine. Y'all would have fell the fuck out. Like I said, I'm only 5'5", and this man walking next to me like, yeah.
I feel like I used to think that it was a really big thing. But I feel like for me now, that's a petty deal breaker, because of the fact of what Derek said. Like, it's that thing of, like, what if I really miss out on somebody? What if I miss out on somebody because I'm so set on, I'm 6'5.5" and somebody's 5'7". I put on some heels. I'm a little bit taller than them. What if you're an amazing dude? What if you're an amazing guy? But I completely miss out on it because
Then you're looking at the wrong thing. But I want to say this though. When you get down to specifics, if you say, if I were to say I'm not dating a woman that's not 5'3" and 1/4, that's petty. But if you just say I don't like tall women or I don't like short women, that's a preference.
That's a preference.
But when you start specifying, when you get to the specificity of it all, then that's being petty in my opinion.
I agree.
No, that's a good point. No, that's a good point. I find it interesting that, you know, when people are in dating websites or matchmakers and whatnot, and you know how you fill out your questionnaire or I find it interesting that y'all, you know, will have those large ranges so that you'd have more choices, but you don't, you know, some people don't apply it to their real life.
Facts.
Yeah, they did a study on this app called, I think it's Hinge, and it's like 90-something% of the women filtered out men that were under 6 foot. 90-something% of the women.
We are not women.
Preference.
We are not as sweet. What you talking about? Were people walking around casually that high? Like,
I think it's preference, but I think you rule people. You're really like, that's where I talk about the whole petty deal breaker, because I feel like you're
a deal breaker is a deal breaker. There's
like
no such thing. Petty.
Huge number.
Petty is saying I'm not gonna date somebody. I only want to date somebody 6'5". That's petty. When the person 6'4" or the person 6'6", they won't do it. It has to be exactly.
90% of women saying I'm not dating anyone under 6'5".
That's on them. That's a preference. That's what they prefer, and they're entitled.
Isn't the average height in the United States for a man 5'9"?
Yes, it is. So
that's on them if they eliminate, but that's still preference.
So here's the thing with, I think this is what you're missing when I speak to petty deal breakers. So when I speak in petty deal breakers, what I'm saying is that you're setting yourself up for what is the word that I'm looking for? I'm setting myself up for failure in a sense, because I'm so focused on this one thing or these couple of things that I will absolutely dismiss even getting to know a person because of that. So if I absolutely dismiss getting to know a person because of their height, to me, that's petty.
Because to me, it's like this. I know what I like. I know exactly what I like. And if it's a situation where I just miss somebody because they're not in the form, shape, presentation that I like, oh well, I can live with that. That's not going to make me stop breathing at night. You see what I mean?
So the next one is weight.
Preference.
I'm personally going to go with preference. Yeah. Again, mine is the sliding scale, but it honestly does have a lot more to do with health than anything else. Because if I'm dating with the intent to have somebody in my life long term, I'm not necessarily speaking of marriage, but I'm looking around. I don't want to be alone. I want to travel and do things with a certain person. I'm looking at the percentage that you're going to be with me for a while. And so if it seems like you're not in the best health, and I said best health, I didn't say anything about overweight. I didn't say anything about underweight. If it doesn't seem like you're in the best health to work with, then I'm gonna feel a certain way. You know what I mean?
So I can understand that. Let's put it in the perspective of, we're not talking about somebody who's necessarily unhealthily.
Okay. Just aesthetics. Just
aesthetically weight wise, like they don't aesthetically fit maybe something that you would rather prefer.
Right.
Is that a petty deal breaker, or is that a preference?
I still say preference.
I'm gonna go with preference because I don't know, maybe it's just because the age I am or just the way that I've always moved. My version of what I like aesthetically might not be others, and again, it's rather expensive. All right. If we're gonna do, like in the Black community when we're dealing with colorism and things like that, my son is extremely fair skinned, and that has more to do with, his grandparents than anything else, because my father was too. But the last person that I had been engaged with, people in America kept thinking he was an African. I got a personality type, and he was tall and slender, whereas, my man was a little bigger or chunky or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know. I do see it as a preference. I guess it just depends on what your aesthetic and what it might be. And it can be maybe petty if you absolutely will not, if you have no variance in it. You know what I mean? So you might say, I need my man to be XYZ, 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 XYZ. And so I'm like, what if you get a hold of your future man in the wintertime when he's been squirreling away chips and shit? Like he got a little extra little oomph in the back, a little oomph on the side. All right. But then he gets springtime, right? You know how we cyclical because we're human beings and we're adults. Yes. And you see him jogging past the basketball court and everything just moving and one just muscles and everything. But then you see him again, then we getting back in fall. He about to get up on that couch and Netflix and chill. So, I mean,
and that's my thing about petty deal
versus preference.
Versus preference is that a lot of times we absolutely just say like no,
right?
I'm just not, because this is just I just want somebody who's this weight and this and this height and and they just do this, that, and the third or whatever, as opposed to giving. I think when we deal in these petty preferences, as I call them, and Ace of Hearts hates when I say petty preference because
I really hate it.
He does. God, he hates it so badly. But when we deal in these spaces, like Derek has talked about, he's talked to women who they like, I can't date nobody who's not 6'5" and above. Those to me are petty preferences and a lot of people move in that. When it comes to like some of the things that I have on my list are sex drive.
No, play the game. I want to answer to those specifically. Yes.
Can I make a quick point real quick before you move to the next one? So here's the thing, right? So I struggle with this, the difference between the two, because I think sometimes when we use the word petty, we have to be under the assumption that they're looking for like something meaningful, long-term, whatever, and you may miss out on the love of your life if you have a petty deal breaker. But I think where it gets a little muddy for me is, let's say you have a deal breaker that someone else calls petty. It's well within your right to be single forever.
Preference.
That. Right? So who am I to tell you that you not finding that is not your path?
So my thing is not telling someone else whether they need to find their path or not. This is completely solely something that is soul searching for yourself.
Yeah. So like the person that says 6'5", right? The person that says 6'5", right? And they won't go 6'6", and they won't go 6'4".
Right. That's
you're probably gonna be single.
That's
okay. So now that's the thing.
But
yourself. This has nothing to do with telling anyone else. Like it's not about
you're speaking from first person.
What I'm trying to get you to understand is a deal breaker doesn't mean it's petty just because you have a preference. And I'll give you one that's connected to you and I. The potato salad joke, right?
That shit is
petty. That's petty. Potato salad is a petty deal breaker. But to say I don't want to.
I'm sorry, bro. Have you had some really bad potato salad? The ones that keep on using Band-Aids?
You're not privy to the joke. So let me.
Well, I'm not talking about that joke. I'm just talking about what you put out here in that regard, Gus.
No, so the joke is that the way that Ace of Hearts and I met is that Ace of Hearts came onto my live, and his big thing was potato salad. And could I make potato salad? And I was like, no, I don't eat potato salad. I don't make potato salad. So he completely put me out of the, like, I was out.
It's a wrap.
Like, you can't even be in. You're not even in the running.
You don't qualify.
Like, you don't qualify. Like, you're out. Literally, he left my life.
Like there was no wiggle room for you to learn. There's no wiggle room for you to learn.
When you get to the point where you're making something so specific that somebody has to fall into a slot to be it. That's petty to me.
And
But just because you have a preference in height or preference in weight or bank account or whatever, that's not petty. That's just your preference.
This is my point, is that there are some people that go so deep into those preferences and those things that it becomes petty. So here's what it is that I came to this conclusion. I came to this thought one day because, you know, I'm always trying to like be the best version of me or whatever possible. And I was like, am I moving in a space? Am I moving in a space to where I'm looking so deeply at certain things and saying, ugh, I just couldn't. And it becomes so petty, to like the potato salad thing. Like, it's like, really, does that need to be a petty issue?
So then tell us some of those, because the ones that you're throwing out are just preferences, in my opinion. And I'm not right.
And that's well, for some people, it's like it's a super preference. So okay. Somebody who talks about what they let's try this one. We'll try this one. Someone who talks about work all day long. Like you get to them, end of the day, they come, they talk to you, all they talk about is work. Y'all can't talk about nothing else. All they talk about is work. Can y'all?
I don't think that's petty. I don't think that's petty because they're not listening. They're not having a conversation.
So what's petty? I'd like to know. So then let's say what's petty.
I think out of that would be something maybe very specific. Maybe it might be I can't even say tone of voices because there are some people whose tones of voice, they hit my ears a certain way and I can't take it. So maybe
Wait a minute.
What happened?
So Asa Parse and I had a conversation about tones of voices.
There's a thing.
We had this thing where I was explaining that I had come into contact with someone who talked very, very lightly all the time. Mm-hmm. Hey, so I was just just how are you doing? I was just trying to see how your day was. And I
don't like that.
If it's gonna drive you nuts, it's not petty.
You sound sneaky right in front of me. I don't like that. What you doing? You sound like a serial killer. What's up? I think the petty in it would be is if they're talking about work and you hear them harping on something specific that just bothers you. Like saying if they're saying, I'm talking to my coworkers and we're around the water cooler and that bothers you. Out of everything that they talk about, it's the water cooler that bothers you for some reason. Maybe that's the pettiness within it.
So this is what's petty for me. It's that. So let's say you do, like you said, okay, tone of voice. So let's say you deal with somebody who does speak in like a very light tone all the time. Mm-hmm. Babe, I was just wondering. I just want you to know. I was just thinking. I was just trying to figure out what you wanted to have for breakfast this morning. I just thought like maybe like waffles
for breakfast this morning. That means that we did something beforehand, but they weren't talking the whole time. That I didn't know their voice was like this.
Waffles would be amazing, with like strawberries and like some fresh peaches on the side, drizzled with like some like some simple syrup, and I just thought that maybe this is what she
preference.
Petty and worth it. I stand behind it. That was not.
Can I say one last thing about this, and I'm not going to try to make my point anymore. If it's something that's going to absolutely irritate you to the point where you're like, I hate being in this relationship, I'm going to get out, that's a preference. But if it's a specificity, if you're saying, Jay, if you say, I'm only going to date a man that's got gray hair on his left side and it can only be for like 2 to 3 inches. That's petty.
What if they check off all the boxes? And that's the crazy part. It's like, what if they check off all the boxes? Financially, they're stable. They listen, they're attentive, they're romantic, whatever it is that are the boxes that you need to check off. Mm-hmm. But there's this like couple of things.
But their breath stink.
No. You know what? Look, who said it? Was it Judge Lynn Toiler who brought it out? That said, if you're dealing with somebody, you need to make a list and see what things you can absolutely stand or can't stand about them, and if it's something that you can deal with during a relationship. So I think that the petties would be the ones where it's something that there is possible compromise. It's something that it doesn't have to be so minute and absolute, in which you're not willing to entertain any sort of thing. If you're not willing to compromise, I think from listening to this and like my opinion evolving a little bit, preference comes across as like the baseline. But if there is, wiggle room and compromise and growth in that, then that's something that can be worked with. So for me, petty would be as if, okay, I don't remember what it is. There's a syndrome where people absolutely can't stand sound. It starts with an M. That's why I was like, and there are some people's voices I can't take. And so there might be somebody who has all those qualities, and it's just hitting a bone in my ear a certain way. I can't take it. Like, and it's kind of like petty with me, to me, would be like, okay, so you have all the, like, you can't speak an octave higher. Like, I'm trying to work with you, brother. Can lower? Can you enunciate? Can you project something just in that example? That seems like to be the petty would be maybe not willing to compromise, not willing to give or get in any sort of regard with that. Petty would be as if, you might be dating a brother that decides to wear fingernail polish and you absolutely can't stand the red and he don't want to compromise and wear blue or black. It's just that sort of shit. Like, I'm just looking for reasons to discount you. You breathing too hard, my guy. You're not breathing. You don't breathe from your stomach. You breathe from your diaphragm. That sort of shit is what I look at as petty. You know what I'm saying? It's like, right. Yeah, like you sitting, like you said, the brother sitting up there got a nice head dome or whatever, and you looking and you like, why you got those 3 hairs right there? Like, it's just like I can't do it. That's so sort of thing. Yeah,
that's why I bring it up, because deal breakers for me, the way I look at deal breakers are always in the sense of like, you can't be a liar, you can't be, like I said, conniving, this is this. So they're really hardcore. So when you come to things like, God, you talk in way too low of an octave, like that.
That's a deal breaker, because at some point you're gonna be like, can your ass speak up and quick? And you don't want to come out of yourself like that. You see what I'm saying? So to me, that's not petty. That is a downright
great person. Just like the height thing. That's where I be like, oh God, like, is it petty or is it like?
It's not petty at all. There's something that you can't stand. Like, if you can't stand nails on a chalkboard, that's not being petty. That's a sound that bothers you. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with what your example of his finances are right, he's this and that and this, but his breath stink and he can't make his breath smell good. You gonna stay with him?
What's going on? Well, that's a health issue. We gotta have some sympathy.
I mean, right. But I'm just saying, if it can't be fixed and it's something that you can't stand, it's not petty. It's just not.
Okay. I mean, you made, as far as I'm concerned, you made your point. It's a good point, right? It's a good point. It makes me look like I'm not going to not laugh.
I think I'm more on like Joy's side of it. Is like, with some things, like some people are just.
I feel like to a certain degree that I definitely need to stand back, because when you're talking about this I'm just like there. I'm listening to you like, oh my God, I have been so petty, unrepentantly petty too. Like, look. This is the thing. I don't have a problem being by myself. So that's why I'm kind of like, I'm pretty much resigned to the fact that I'm going to have my kittens and maybe a puppy later. I'm very resigned to it. I might have my son, maybe get grandbabies. I don't know. So, I mean, look, okay, don't judge me. I will, don't judge me. This is supposed to be a safe space. Don't judge me. Okay. Like, look, I can't deal with men who have toes that do this to one another. You can be fine. You can be handcrafted by God, and then maybe he, she, or they got distracted for a second. Right? I can't.
That's petty.
But
I have a hard time with faces that are not symmetrical either. Please don't misunderstand me, because there is an attractiveness that is already seen when people have symmetrical features. Oh, y'all got symmetrical features. But could you imagine if your chin was a little higher on one side? It would drive me crazy. I'm sorry. There you are, Rick Petty. Like,
yeah.
I'm not across well here, and I apologize to anybody watching this. I'm just trying to, like, don't judge me. Even the people don't judge me. I'm just saying, we've all come across it.
If you're eating and you're smacking your lips and raking your fork along your teeth, I will punch you in your damn throat.
Did you say raking your fork?
See, that's petty, but it's your preference. I don't think any. I don't think any deal breaker is petty. I don't think any deal breaker is petty. It's what you will.
How to eat? Who taught you how? I'm gonna smack both your mom and your dad.
Yeah, you know, I think too, because I'm gonna have to jump off of here in a second.
Why are you always leaving us?
Okay, I'm this Lady J show, so I'm gonna be quiet. But you know, we had an hour and a half, so that's why it's not because I want to leave.
We're at 1:20, and I'm gonna get off. I promise.
That's all. I got things on the other side of the door I got to attend to.
I understand it. He got family, y'all. He got family. I understand. I always understand.
So I do want to say this too. Like, you got to really think about the things that you have as like preferences or whatever you want to call them. You have to ask yourself the question: is this thing going to change how I show up in a relationship? Right? If that 1 inch in height is gonna make you go crazy in a relationship, then there's a like. Yeah, like, but then again, like everybody's saying, if that's your decision and that's your preference, then the odds may not be in your favor over time. The average man isn't 6'5", blah blah blah, and then he gotta like you back, and everything gotta line up.
Right.
You might be single for a while.
Might make your pool small, right?
So then you gotta reevaluate and say, does that 1 inch really matter in the whole scheme of things of me pursuing a relationship? And most of the time, the answer is no. Like, people with this weight, no, she's over 200. What if she's 202? Like, you gotta like that, all of that stuff. But then you gotta say, well, that's what he liked. He liked 200.
That's their preference, right?
So I don't, you know. But some of others would be like, those 2 pounds, like she could lose that in a week if she wants to. Like
it's that's like you said. The specificity of it is
I thought you'd like that.
It will. That's a true statement.
I agree with you, because we do have to get out of here. I do agree with you, Derek, as far as I think, and that's the thing, and that was the whole point of the petty deal breakers, is that was what I had been mulling over, is that are some of the things that I think of as petty preferences or petty deal breakers, forgive me, are they things that are going to put me in a space where I'm overlooking people that could be absolute catches, because I have this one small thing that's kind of like, I don't like that you do this, and this, da, da, da. So I was kind of having to weigh out this idea of, okay, is this a petty deal breaker, or is this just, it's a deal breaker, but it's not a huge deal breaker like normal people, like we normally think a deal breaker is, right? Like lying or not being consistent or things of that nature. So that's where that's my whole thing, is that, is it a preference? Is it a petty deal breaker? Is it just a deal breaker in general? And that was my only thing in having the conversation, is that
I think it's a good conversation. It's a good tool for people to use and quantifying what it is in the relationship. Because like y'all was saying, and I hardly know, like, if someone is like man or woman, it's like, I need somebody 6'5". And if they're able to sit here and think about what is the difference between that 6'5" and 6'3", that 6'5" and 6 feet, what inherently is that difference for you? Is it a matter of children? Is it a matter of aesthetic for you if you happen to be tall? Is it a matter of what's happening in your life? What does this mean to you? And is it something that you can compromise and change? And I think it's you might need to sit up here and trademark some stuff. You probably need to get up there and get that $200 and trademark some shit, so that you can have that name or game or whatever.
It's just,
I don't give shit for free.
When you really sit and think about it, it's like, really, it's like, because you have to sit and think like, okay, could I? And that was something that I talked with, I want to say Ace of Hearts, and I talked with Derek as well, about the whole fact that when you really sit down, like Derek said, like, okay, he's 203, but you don't want nobody that's like 200 pounds. Like, the 3 pounds really made the difference. Like, those 3 pounds really made the difference. Because a lot of times we really do live in this, like, these petty ideals of things. And so I was dealing with myself in a sense of like, okay, am I being petty about certain things in relationship with people and giving people a chance, or am I not? And so that's kind of what it was.
Yeah. And
it sounds a lot like control. It's a matter of controlling a narrative. And fear. So if you have these parameters set up and you don't have to go outside of them, then you don't have to be responsible. They can just be your standard. You don't have to be responsible, put yourself out there and be fearful. And or you created a narrative, you created a reality in which you're moving in this regard. And so you have that power that you don't have when you are putting yourself out there with someone or for someone.
That's understandable. That's all.
I'm just saying pets. There are a lot of them that need to be adopted.
You're silly. What were you about to say, Derek? And then we're gonna go ahead
and I just wanted to say, like, I think sometimes because I had the lady that I told y'all about that wouldn't date anybody that was like 5'11" and 6 foot was her bar. And when I coached her, I went through this whole exercise of, what about the 1 inch? And it's really about, like, when I say petty, if I were to use petty, because I flipped her around and I was like, she actually like met a guy that was like 5'10" or 5'11" and became a whole girlfriend, right? And I'm like, you gotta, like, it's so when it becomes petty is if it's something that won't change, just to reiterate what I said, won't change how you show up in a relationship and you ducking out anyway. Like, it's not even something that will make you cringe, like the toes or the face being, it's not even that, because those are things that would drive you nuts. It's not even going to drive you nuts if they 1 inch shorter and you still walking away. You got to ask yourself why, right? Why would I have a deal breaker that could be petty? Because it's not going to change the way that I behave. It's not going to change the way I love this person, unless it's something that I'm repulsed by. Then yes, make that my preference or my deal breaker because I can't stand it. But if it's something you can, and I'm not even talking about a little bit digest, I'm like, it doesn't make any difference at all.
Yeah, that's petty.
Brother, you got the patience of a saint. It sounds like some people that you deal with, I'm like, do they really want to be in a relationship? Do they really not want to be single? Because it's like you throwing up obstacles for no reason.
Yeah,
like you just walking down the street talking about, I can't deal with a gutter, I can't deal with the sidewalk.
I'm gonna have clients for the rest of my life because these people, like, and I'm not saying, when I say these people, I mean people get so caught up in their emotions and in their feelings and in their head, and they don't even use the brain that they'll create these things of why they're single. And I'm like, no, that's not it. It's you. Look at who you're picking. Look at your pattern.
Exactly. I know you broke some hearts right there. I know you broke some hearts right there when they're just like,
oh yeah. Nobody wants to be the problem. Nobody wants to be the problem.
Exactly.
I don't want to not be single. I'm good. I'm telling you, cats and dogs is where it's at. Perhaps
you have a problem, Joy. You have a problem.
I get it. So with what she said, because we got to go, I'm segueing into the fact that Joy's theory, her ideas, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of like tiptoeing on feeling like that. Next week, for those of y'all who are in here and those of y'all that will watch the replay, next week we're doing an all-woman show where all the ladies are going to get in here and we're going to do a all-ladies show. We'll talk about like dating. We'll talk about like dating with, we'll talk about dating. We'll talk about life with special needs kids. And we'll we're going to talk about just like a plethora of things with women and dating and all kinds of other stuff. And then the week after that, we're going to have like an all-guys show where I'll be the only lady that's in here just because it's,
show.
Real talk with LadyJ. So I'm gonna do my very best. To just sit here and kind of just be quiet and listen and just like interject, ask questions every once in a while so that women can get understanding. Us ladies can have understanding of how y'all men think, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little confused at this point. I'm a little confused. I'm trying to understand, and so we need some help. But the ladies next week are going to go into our stuff, and then Joy can kind of like explain why she feels the way she feels, and we'll go there, and we'll do that. But now, being that we gotta wrap things up, Miss Love from Within, Miss Jill, how can we find you?
On TikTok, Love from Within.
Y'all see it? There she is. She's Love from Within on TikTok. And then we have Miss Joy, who is
Know Your Nature. You can find me on TikTok also.
Because why? Because TikTok runs our brains.
I'm so proud of you, Lady J. I'm looking at all these banners popping up, and I'm just like, oh.
I've been working. I've been working hard. But wait, hold on. I'm not done. Unfortunately, I don't have one for you. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Right. Mr. Mo Money, Mr. Ace of Hearts. This is how we find you, sir?
Yes, ma'am. That's how you find me at Heartfelt Truth Podcast on Instagram.
All right. And so, Mr. Derek, how can we find you? Because I unfortunately don't have his. Because
I'm TikTok heavy now. You can find me on TikTok at relationship_gumbo on IG and TikTok. But my main site that funnels everything is myrelationshipgumbo.com, and you can get everything from there. Services I offer, social media, all of that stuff. So that's all. That's it.
Yo, and he's good, y'all. Like America, like Coming to America, good. Like when they were like, that boy good, and he dropped the mic, like he's that good. Like y'all need to
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Good. And like they dropped the mic, y'all need to go follow Relationship Gumbo. Like I'm not saying nobody else ain't good, but I'm just saying like when it comes to like sitting and talking about relationships, talking about life, listen, go follow this man, okay? Because he got some knowledge. He got some knowledge. So y'all know me. I won't start with TikTok because I'm going through my where I can see it right now because I'm new to this. So y'all can find me on IG at LadyMan2008. My regular Facebook is just Jame Man, my first name. On Twitch, you can find me as LadyJ_1111. And on TikTok, as you know, which I don't see it for me right now. On TikTok, where do y'all find me on TikTok? LadyJ. Because why? Because TikTok runs my brain. Because that's where I'm normally at all points in time.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm always there. No matter what's going on with me, you find me on TikTok. So, I super appreciate you guys joining with us for another Friday night. Because I know y'all could have been, like, doing a million other things on a Friday night.
I got no life.
It's monkeys outside. We good.
Y'all, yeah, but you know what's these other folks out here? They don't care about the monkeys. They don't care about the monkeys. They out there running around getting the monkeypox and COVID and all the other stuff and whatever it is, Makalaka, whatever in Florida, whatever. Listen, these folks is out here running wild. So I appreciate those of you who watched with us tonight. I appreciate you guys in the room with me.
That was nice.
I really do. Thank you so much. I can't wait until next week. Fun fact for ladies' night. And I can't wait again for week after that with all the guys. I'm kind of excited about the next 2 weeks. So thank y'all so much. I thank y'all. I hope y'all have an amazing night. Thank y'all for joining. And I didn't get my dance.
Yes.
Get around.
Yes.
Have a good night and thank y'all for joining. I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye, y'all.
Bye.